Hey, Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark here, host of Minds of the Mighty podcast. And this isn't just your ordinary podcast. This is where we get real with Olympians, pro athletes, celebrities, and other amazing high achievers who've all conquered their fears and challenges and come out successful on the other side. So every week, you're going to get unforgettable conversations. You're going to get information on how to move things forward and powerful, powerful validation for you building your own dreams. So hit that subscribe button, spread the love, and let's go. Hey everyone, Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark here, your host of Minds of the Mighty podcast. And I am so excited to have an amazing person, both a musician and an actress. She is here with us today. So Joy Villa, she is a multifaceted entertainer who has never been shy about expressing her opinions, which is why she's here, because we love to hear that. And she's an award-winning singer, actress, commentator, born in California and raised in New York City. Wow, you had like the whole spectrum there.
That's right. East Coast and West Coast, baby.
I love it. I love it. I love both coasts. So you're representing both. That's actually a huge talent right there. In 2017, she hit #1 on the Billboard's rock charts with her debut EP, I Make the Static. So she started in musical theater at the age of 5. Oh my goodness. She got into local TV, producing as a teen. So not only is she an actress, guys, she is also a producer.
That's right. That's right.
That's amazing. And she's toured over 38 countries, singing, modeling, and speaking her mind. And she's become known for her flamboyant Grammys, red carpet fashions, notably those of political nature. But in the last 2 years, she's focusing more on the humanitarian issues and a softer approach towards helping create a more harmonious and joyful world, which goes great with your name, Joy. So Joy, thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely.
For coming on here with us. It's so exciting. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is great. It's really nice to be on such a great podcast, because you speak to help others, and that is definitely part of my purpose.
There's a theme. There's definitely a theme with everyone that's coming on. Everybody has like a humanitarian approach. And we've got actors, actresses, comedians, but everyone's doing something for the greater good. So, so glad that you're a big part of that too, because you're doing amazing things in the world. So I know your bio doesn't do you justice. So I'm going to let you kind of tell everybody, here's some of the things that I'm up to and some of my proudest moments that are coming true for me.
Oh, thank you, Danielle. Well, this is great because I've been an artist my whole life, and I know it's not easy for a lot of artists. I speak a lot about this. I mentor, and I'm working with the Make a Diff Foundation out here in Florida. I'm in Florida now, based here. I just moved here from the UK, actually. I was in the United Kingdom near London for 2 years and working with different places out there, different charities. And now I realize, if we don't give back and support the future, which is artists, especially in tumultuous times, we'll have no world to create on. It's not just business and science and finances, which are extremely important, but it's also dreaming and imagination and magic. So that's the world I like to live in. And I have 2 films coming out. One, they're both in post-production, so they're being edited right now by my team, and I produced it along with Chris Johnson and his production company. We have a production company together, and it's really exciting because he's the one who did The Contrast, which is my first feature film, which came out in 2020, and that is 2020 or 2021 by the time we released it. And it's a romantic comedy. It's called The Contrast. It's on Amazon Prime. You can watch it. I star in it. I play a woman who has to choose between 2 men, following her heart, the one that she, wants, or the one that she should be with because of, what her family and everybody says she should do. Yeah. Which one will she choose? That's The Contrast on Amazon Prime. For you romance lovers, grab a glass of wine and watch it. It's really good.
Do they need a box of tissues too?
You might. It's more comedy, it's romantic comedy. So I would say that the next film I have coming out, which is a Christmas film, that you're going to want to have a box of tissues. And we tentatively titled it Pastor Sue Saves Christmas. The title might change a little bit because it's in post-production, being edited. And this one will be either on Hallmark Channel or Amazon Prime. It'll be available out there, for distribution. And this one is where a small town pastor has to fight against a big city lawyer who's come into the city to shut down Christmas and all religious displays. She's so evil, and that is played by yours truly.
So we go from love interest to the big bad lawyer. I love it.
Exactly. It's so great because this is, my second ever starring role, and I get the first time I play a villain, and I'm really excited to play a villain. And you'll see it. I do a good job. I'm very stylish as a villain. Her name is Lucy, Lucy Fur.
Okay, Lucy Fur. I love it. Okay, so I have to ask this question. What is it like going from different roles? I'm not an actress, so I can't even fathom what it's like. But what is it like going from that love interest to somebody who's more evil and
Ooh, it's juicy, girl. It's juicy. It's so much fun. So I grew up doing musical theater and did a lot of stage presence, workshops, and went to an acting school in North Hollywood and did a lot of on-camera workshops as well. And so I've done small roles up until, my first major role. And now they're coming in like gangbusters. They're just coming one after another. I've got projects, I'm booked out for the next 2 years, which I'm really excited about. And it stretches me as an artist because it's kind of like, it's a muscle you have to work. Yeah. It's as if you always knew you could do this dance move. Like if you dance or you move or you create, like, you're like, oh, if I could cook this meal, and then you get a chance and an opportunity to do it, but you don't have a lot of time to learn the ingredients. You just have to do it on command. And every ingredient, every meal you've done since you were a kid has prepared you for this moment. Yeah. That's what it's like. It's like any sport, any excellence, I also come from a sports background. I ran track. I competed in bikini bodybuilding. I've won medals in both sports. And to me, it's like you prepare for that moment. What is it? It's luck, or is it up? It's 99% perspiration and then 1%. I forgot the saying, but it's basically you have to work for that moment. Yeah. And when you get the opportunity, that's when it all comes together. So for me, I've already had those muscles that I was building to play different characters, to put on different beingnesses. And I love people. So it's every time I meet a person, I sort of pick up their personality, and then and there might be a role that I can use those quirks or something for. So I'm just getting started, but it's basically like putting on a new outfit that you really like.
I love that. I'm a writer, so I actually put out this comment on social media, and it was really funny. It's just like, just so you know, fair warning that every person that I meet, I may be writing a character after you.
I love that. Yes.
So don't be on your best behavior. It's kind of what I was telling them. It's like, don't be on your best behavior because I'm going to be using this for character build. So
And people are characters, aren't they? It's like, the Christmas film, Pastor Sue Saves Christmas, I co-wrote it. And that was the first feature screenplay. And I actually wrote a full-length screenplay that I have, another romantic comedy starring myself. And I have it in, being shopped right now. And that is the best way to put all the characters you've ever had in life. And I know you know this as a writer, like everyone you've ever met who has some sort of weird whatever, like that's what makes it interesting. That's what I like to see. I like to write flawed characters. I like to play flawed characters, especially flawed women, because we see, my viewpoint is we have too many female characters. Like I love women in cinema, and I always dreamt as a little girl to see more powerful women in cinema. And then I grew up and I thought I saw more powerful women in cinema, but then I see the characters and they're not flawed enough. They're too perfect. And I don't want to see somebody too perfect. I want to see flawed women. I want to see them break down. I want to see them go through struggles. I want to see them be unlikable. And then yet I want to follow them through that journey to becoming a better woman. And that's the kind of characters I like to play and create.
Oh, I love this. Okay, so there's, oh my gosh, we can just go on about this.
I know we can.
Again, so this is so interesting. So I think that there's a lesson right within this, and from two people who love humans, and we love to learn about humans, and we observe, and then we can make it work wonderfully for us. And it's really the joy of the experience of people too.
It is. It is. It
in all
is.
forms, in all
Absolutely.
forms, right?
And it's funny because I have a travel documentary that's also in post-production right now.
Yeah.
And this one is about Andorra, which is the world's safest country. And I host it and I sing in it. I'm performing at some of the local festivals and I get to try some of the local cuisine and interview a ton of people. I think we have almost 40 interviews. And I mean, we're talking, we have an Olympic skier. She's only like 21. We have a incredible artist. We have the Dakar, which is the North Africa racing, on the bikes. And we have a race car driver. I mean, powerful women. We have a physicist, we have tons of incredible people and men and women. And all of these people are what make the documentary so special because, a lot of times you see a documentary and it's about, I don't know, like the fall of this great civilization or this or that, it's like drama or, why you shouldn't eat meat, which I'm a vegan, so I support that. But sometimes they can be very downers. This one is about joyfulness, no pun intended. This one is about exploring people and cultures and how incredible this little tiny country situated between Spain and France is the world's safest country. They've never had a war in like something 500 years and it exists there and nobody even knows what an Andorra is. I didn't. It's Andorra is the country. Mm-hmm. People are going to Google it now after this podcast, which of course is going viral. Yeah. Of course.
Yes, of course.
And so the film will be out soon and it's really beautiful. And if you love travel and in different cultures. I mean, we also interviewed a Catholic priest who runs a school where he has kids who have no home, like he's sort of adopted these children and he teaches them life skills. And I mean, people from all different backgrounds living in this country. And it's so fascinating. It's really my passion, people and finding these stories and bringing them to life, whether it's music or cinema. That is really what I love to do.
Oh, I love that. Oh, so good. And I love that you have such an appreciation for the realness, right? And coming from the online digital marketing space, social media space, there is kind of this layer that you almost have to get through after people are out there on social media.
Because
there's a persona, there's like an online persona versus the real persona. And so I love what you're saying, that what you love is to see the real, and the real's relatable, right? The
real is so relatable. And it's taken me a while to learn that, I saw the Barbie film last night with a good friend of mine, and I actually really liked it because it also, the lesson was really like, just be yourself. And you don't have to know somebody through your relationships or through what you should do or through your clothes or through this. I thought it was a really good message. And I thought that we need more films like that. And we need more music like that. And we need more representation of that, whether male or female, black or white, American or European or African or Asian. I mean, I've traveled to 38 countries and I've seen the world. And I want to see more of the world. And everybody has that same fundamental need to be loved, the need to be accepted and given the space to be and room to grow. Yep. And social media is both good and bad. But one of the bad things is exactly what you touched on, Danielle, is this like social personality, the social veneer. That's like, I'm perfect. And look at my gorgeous kids and my husband and my house and my perfect body. And everyone's like sucking in and like posing and like, take the picture. Okay, good. Now I can be real. But I want to see the real after the cameras stop.
Yeah. No, those are the pictures that I love the most, is the one with people who they're not even looking at the camera, but they're laughing. They're looking somewhere else and laugh. Those are my favorite ones, the ones that look real.
Same.
I don't like taking pictures, so I'm like, you guys should really see me in between takes because I am so uncomfortable. And I take selfies because everybody likes selfies, but I'm like, you guys have no idea. I hate taking them. I feel foolish, but I do it because I know that my message behind it is really important. So I want you guys to look. So,
well, you know what you do is you get a photographer that just follows you around in your fabulous day-to-day life, and you tell them, just take pictures of me randomly. And then you just say, don't let me know. Right. And then and then pick from those, and maybe you edit them a little or something, but you could have some nice pictures, give it to somebody else. That's their job.
On my day to day, I'm usually like going like this and just like researching everything and just like,
people want to see that
that's
though.
like really cool. I got to see what that means and that means. And then I have like all these poster boards and stuff where I'm writing down notes to come back to. It is, I'd
love to see that.
Yeah. I'm highly creative and very methodical at the same time. So nice. It is a weird combination, I will say. I don't know if people are like, wow, didn't even know that she was like that much of a creative, is probably what they would think.
That's fabulous. You're amazing that you can be organized and creative. That's the perfect, that's the perfect like combination.
Yeah. Well, and I don't like to do the same thing over and over again. So it's kind of, sometimes I switch it up and there's no rhyme or reason. So it's not like I can reproduce a day.
Yeah. All that randomity, the motion. I love that too.
It only makes sense to me, but that's okay. It's the only one that really needs to.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that. No, that's so good. And I love that you watched the Barbie movie and you loved it. I'm getting one of my daughters. I have 3 daughters, and I'm like, hey, who wants to go to the Barbie movie with me? And they're all like, the older 2 are like, no, but my younger one wants to. And I'm like, I think she would really like it.
Yes, I think it's fun for anyone. If you say this is a silly, funny, don't take it too seriously, because there's some controversy online saying it's this or that. Even older kids, teens, women, men should watch it because it's just entertaining. It's just like an old-fashioned, fun, entertaining film to me. And it has a good message in the end. It's a very good message. It's kind of quite spiritual. I really loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually the feedback that I've been getting, is that it's actually, I was surprised how much I liked it, is what I've heard from people. And spiritual was the other one. I'm like, I know I'm going to love it then, because that's just more of my take on things too. So,
good.
All right, I'm sold. I got to go watch it now.
Exactly. And then you could do a podcast about it. What you thought about it. It's hot. Yep. It's hot right now.
Yeah, it'll be controversial. I'm like, I like the Barbie movie.
Exactly.
For people who didn't, I thought it had a great message. So, I mean, I've seen it. There was one actress, Americana.
America Ferrera.
Ferrera. I had a post of her quote on that. I'm like, that right there is reason alone for me to go, because I loved what she said in the movie.
Yeah.
For her part.
Yes.
I'm like, that I want to watch it now because
it's really good. It's very, I mean, Margot Robbie is fantastic. America Ferrera is fantastic. Ryan Gosling is incredible. Like, he has a great singing voice. Oh my gosh, he sings throughout the movie. I wanted there to be more music in it, but he sings a couple songs, and he's got an amazing like rock voice. And it's fun. It's really fun, and it's colorful. So it's just like, it's a fun movie. Movies should be fun. I think movies can teach lessons. Of course, there should be good messages within them. Like, all the films I produce have good messages in them. But at the end of the day, they're entertainment, and I do think we should go away from any political statements or any strong lean towards this or that.
Yeah.
Either way, left or right. I don't want to see any politics in my films. I don't want to see any, I don't want to see any messages that are trying to convince me. This is what I don't like about a lot of modern day music or movies, is everybody's got this message that is like, I want you to see my view, and that's what I'm going to put in every single frame, every single lyric. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be like the Twilight Zone had messages like, see, we're all one, love one another, don't judge a book by its cover. Like, these general golden rule, beautiful humanitarian messages that we used to have back in the day should be back. I mean, the 90s was the last golden age of cinema, I think. We had Home Alone, and we had The Matrix, and we had, Fight Club. We had some incredible films in the 90s. And then it sort of like went downhill to where culture sort of died, became plastic, I think. And now it's coming back. We're back, I think.
Yeah. 2020 did something good for us then.
Well, people are sick of the fake. They're like, okay, I can't exist now. The world has ended. Reboot.
Yeah.
We got to restart. And personal liberty and personal freedom and personal expression are extremely important to me. So I always encourage people to find their own messages and put that in and be about that, rather than taking the flag of somebody or the message of somebody, because oftentimes it can get kind of crazy, and I have been guilty of that myself. I mean, I'm very outspoken and I stand by everything I've said, but also my viewpoint has changed on some things.
Yeah.
And we have a right to change our mind. We have a right to say, well, I was more black and white on that, but now I'm a little in the gray area, or now I think the different. I chose black before, but now I'm choosing white. Whatever that is, I think we have to remember we don't have, life is a spectrum. We don't have to choose a very hard stance, and it's okay to not know about something and to find out about something and then to change your mind. So I really, truly, it's why I came out of more of a political strong point and into this softer message of art and humanitarianism, because it's a higher vibration than this very lower level, like my team against your team,
Yeah.
You can reach more people that way by being higher vibes.
Well, there's a need for the acceptance, like you said at the beginning. It's like this is the same thing across all the countries that you've been to, is that everybody has this universal piece where they all want to be seen and accepted.
Yeah.
So for people to be seen and accepted, they also, first it comes from within. And sometimes just being a person that can hold the space for that is the boost that they need in order to make that discovery for themselves. So
absolutely. Yeah. It's all a journey. It's a beautiful journey. And music wise, I have some new music that I'm working on that I'm so excited about. Danielle, it is going to be amazing. And my Joy Tribe, my fans, I call Joy Tribe. So I've got, hundreds of thousands of followers, almost 1 million of followers across my social media. And a lot of them have come through different channels because I do the health and fitness. I have a podcast, the Joy Villa Show. I do a live show on YouTube. Everything is under joyvilla.com. If your listeners would like to check it out, they can go to joyvilla.com. And on Instagram, I'm at joyvilla. And, all those different styles, all the different things that I do, I put that also in my music. And it's been a while. My Joy Tribe has been asking for new music. So it's coming. And a Joy Villa tour is coming as well. So it's very exciting. Yeah. Now that everything's open and live music can flourish and prosper again, which I'm so grateful for. So it's going to be good.
Yeah. So good. Okay. So I'm a big music fan. So I love music. I grew up playing piano since 4. Actually, I was 4. So that was like one of the things that I did.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So it's one of the things that I love. So tell us more about your music. You've got lots coming out. What's the style of music that you love the most? Or it probably isn't one. Maybe you've got a top 3.
Yeah, it's a combination. So I hit number 1 on the rock charts on Billboard in 2017. I hit number 12 on the top 200 that same year. And it's interesting because that was an older album that hit. I produced the album, created the album, toured the album 2014 and 2015 and 16, and then it hit in 2017. So I always tell artists as well, create and then just put it out. Don't think I have to. I was just telling my cousin this because she's an amazing artist and she's going into the studio in North Carolina, in Charlotte this week. And I'm going to fly out there and be out there with her. And I was just telling her and this is the battle, is you shouldn't think about, is this going to be a commercial success when you go in the studio? You have to just be source to this energy, this godlike, incredible spiritual connection that God created in us as artists. We have to channel that and just create. We just channel it and create. When you go into the studio or you put pen to paper on anything, any creation, especially specifically music, you cannot think about the outcome. You just have to create. And then you put the outcome out there. So I've always thought like that. And for a while, I didn't. And my music stopped. The flow stopped. The energy stopped. And I started touring and doing kind of my older music and doing public speaking and, humanitarian efforts and like causes and doing lots of speaking to groups and touring and having a lot of fun. But my music wasn't taking precedence. And the last song I did was Voice Over Violence, which is really great. I did that with Ricky Rebel, an incredible musician and friend of mine. And that was almost 3 years ago. That was 2020. So now it's been time to do more music. And where I'm going is to play off of my sultriness in my vocals. And even though I'm my music is rock, but it's like alternative rock, pop, soul. And then, but my new music is going to have a bit of Nora Jones flavor, a bit of Peggy Lee flavor, a bit of Nina Simone.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I'm writing every day, and we're going to go into the studio very soon and have something to show. And it's going to be a combination because I love jazz, I love pop, I love rock. I also love the 1960s and the 70s, and I want to bring different time eras into it, but still be very authentically me. And then lyrics wise, I write all my lyrics. I do co-write with some people when I choose to on certain projects, like Voice Over Violence was co-written, but I'm very much a lead lyricist and songwriter, and I love doing that. Top line writer. I can write the melodies as well. So this will be very much a me product, but also a team effort. Yeah. So I think it's going to be really good. I want to do music you can work out to, but music you can like make love to, and music you can like live, celebrate life with this sort of essence of, don't worry about other things, just enjoy the moment. So that's the intention. It's coming together.
It's so funny because my feeling on music, being musically inclined, so I know how to sing, I know how to play instruments, I can pick one up and play it within a week.
Nice.
When it comes to music, everyone's like, well, what's your favorite? I'm like, gosh, I like all types of music. And it's really, to explain how I like music is more of like, it's the feeling I get when I listen to it or I sing it. I don't know how else to explain it, but it doesn't even mean that the singer wrote it, but it's how they're singing it and what they're bringing to it that is like most impactful. That's
intention. Yeah. The intention they put in there, right, is so key. Yeah. That's a beautiful observation.
Yeah. And I think people have that when they listen to music and they just can't explain it, but that's essentially what it is. It's what's behind it. It's not so much that it's by this singer and I just like his voice. It's like, well, what's behind it? It's the energy behind it too. And and I think people are a lot more sensitive to that than they realize, especially if they love music, because there's just certain things that will hit you a different way. And sometimes like lyrics will hit me and I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying. This doesn't, it's not my thing. It doesn't resonate necessarily, but it's just the way that they're singing it that just means so much. So
absolutely. And that it takes an artist to be extremely raw and real and present that emotion to you, to where you can get it and you receive it so well because you are an artist and a sensitive soul. And we're sensitive souls as artists. And we do have to protect ourselves, not in a way that shield ourselves away, but love ourselves like we're a child. Like it's being a parent to our artistic soul and kind of baby ourselves sometimes, because what I find is artists in this world are told you have to toughen up, you have to be strong. It's very masculine energy. And for a male who's a sensitive artist, it's really hard. I have a brother who has the same thing. It's like, you can't be a sissy, you can't be, but that's using your feminine energy in a masculine way. It is the balance. We all contain that. And truly, art is what I believe, that message that true art is communication. So when an artist communicates to you their vulnerable side, their soft side, it's because they had to put their walls down and do that. But when they're out in their everyday world, they have to keep a bit of a shield up to protect that, and I always tell artists that I mentor and I talk to on my social media, my writings and everything, and to myself is you have to maintain your integrity and not let your energy go dispersed. Don't let other people steal your energy. Don't let other people tell you things that, oh, well, maybe I should. No, if you know what you have to protect that, cherish that, and just own that and sit in your space and then go create from that space, because it's a different hat we wear when we go in the studio or we're writing. And that's why we need a studio space that is protected. And a lot of artists don't do that. And then they wonder why they get caught in that survival game. Well, I got to make money. We do. We have to make money. We have to pay bills. But when you're creating, you cannot have that coming in. And I remember it was really tough for me during the last couple of years. I've had that a lot on my shoulders, this feeling of, well, I've got to be viable and make money and please the fans and do something that other people want. And then I just didn't create because of that. I mean, I created other things, but music, I have to be in that protected space to create. And now I'm finally there and I'm excited. I'm blessed. God is good. I'm blessed.
Yeah. It's the pure channel, right? It's the channel and the heart put together.
That's
when they do it
right.
that way. That's beautiful. I love that. And you're right. You hear this all the time from singers and songwriters that sometimes they have these blocks and maybe they haven't figured it out like you have, but I think you say it so beautifully on, it's really you have to let go of the outside influences and just go back within. It's the same thing with writing. It's the same thing with
Hmm.
acting, and it's that within piece, which I'm huge on myself because I always talk about, well, authenticity, and people want to know what that means. I'm like, it's what's true for you in the moment.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's what's true for you without outside influences. It's
Yeah.
also putting the phone down, turning off the TV, you know, getting off of social media to create. We
Yeah.
can get inspiration. You have to get that inflow. Sometimes I'll watch movies or, scroll on social media or listen to other people's music, listen to movies and things like that. And I have to. It's
Yeah.
good. But then there's a point where then you have to shut all of that out and then you have to outflow the energy and
Yeah.
create it. And there has to be that balance. And most people are sitting just getting inflow, inflow, inflow. The news tells me this person tells me this, I read that
Yeah.
here. Social media tells me, and they're constantly receiving rather than also receive it. Now channel it out. Now
Yeah.
do something else. Put your voice, add your voice to that. It's very few people
Yeah.
who do that. And
Yeah.
those are the artists we see who are creating, like yourself, like me, like I'm hopefully a lot of listeners here,
Yeah.
on Minds of the Mighty. And hopefully anyone listening now and watching this receives that says,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that message is true for me. I need to create as well.
Yeah.
And really, truly that comes from turning off all outside influences and channeling that spiritual side of you, because we all are spiritual beings. We all can tap into that. We all can go into the river and receive that source of inspiration and create out of that. And I do it in many different ways. I paint, I draw, I act, I dance. Everything can be creative. And when you do it, don't judge it. Just
Yeah.
release it. That's the most important. You can always edit it later, but don't create and edit. Those are two different hats. Those are two different jobs.
Yeah.
Your job is not to edit it right now. Your job is to channel and create it and
Yeah.
put it out.
Yeah. I love that. It's so funny you're talking about this today. I was actually thinking about so I surround myself with engineers, brother, sister, husband, engineers.
Wow.
And I'm the communicator, and I was actually just like, I'm like, actually a very rare talent to take these high level concepts and to turn them into something that's more digestible by the people that it's going to be in front of. And
Mm-hmm.
and the thing is that it just kind of the information comes in, and then I'll like, oh, well, that kind of reminds me of this and this. Is that kind of what you mean? Yeah. And then, okay, that's what I'll put out there for everybody, because I think that
Mm-hmm.
they'll be able to understand where this person's coming from. And it's a very interesting concept that you're telling people that to take it in, but also make it your own and then put it out there. And it can come from multiple
Absolutely.
sources. Like you're coming from multiple
Absolutely.
music genres and bringing it in and then turning it into your own and then expressing that. And that's disruption and innovation too, which I love.
Mm-hmm. That's
Right?
right.
Doing
That's
it, making it your own
right.
thing. You're making it your own
Yes.
thing, and
You
that's
have
what the
to.
world needs. That's what the world needs.
And you have
Your
to be
interpretation.
fearless with that.
Yeah.
Exactly. The world needs your interpretation, my interpretation, yours,
Yeah.
everyone else. Everyone's got a different interpretation. Everyone sees something with different eyes, right? And that is what stops a lot of creators is
Yeah.
that we think, well, there's already 10,000 pop songs that sound like this one I just wrote.
Yeah.
There's already 50 million books out there on the market. Why should I write one? It doesn't matter. If everyone thought that way, there would be no creation. Think
Yeah.
about that. There's already 50 billion podcasts. There's already don't listen to that. That voice that always comes in and tries to stop creativity. Unfortunately, the physical universe was created with these traps in it. There's a lot of those traps, and they tell us, and all of us have those voices that try to attack us. You have to create despite that. You have to be brave. You have to shut those voices off, whether
Yeah.
they're coming from the outside or even coming from inside you, because we have that tape that plays from other people that have told us our whole life, or you start picking up things you heard as a kid. You don't know where it comes from. Who told you that you couldn't create? Who told you, well, in this economy, nobody's making a living? Who told you these things? It wasn't coming from you. It was coming from some other voice, some other source. So shut that off, shut that up, and create out of your own voice. And it really takes a lot of quiet time, a lot of reflection, meditation, self-work, prayer,
Yeah.
whatever it takes to get into that feel good spot and then create from there and channel it. And it takes discipline, it takes bravery to be able to get to that point. And a lot of people don't, unfortunately, but it's worth it when you do. It's just like fitness. It's just like making money. It's just like anything. When you get in that, I call it being in the pocket, when you're in the zone and you're like, oh, things are working, things are moving. I'm creating and I'm getting it. I'm thinking it and it's becoming a reality. Like that's a higher level than the physical universe. That is a spiritual realm that we all have access to, but it's up to you to access it and create from that.
I love that you're talking about that. I'm trying to, just interpret this feeling that it's because it's a feeling. Like, you know when you're in it. And I usually like, oh, I'm just in the zone. And I get there when I'm writing content. When I'm writing content, I can get there. When I'm playing music, I can get there. Sometimes I need music to get me to the place for writing.
It's awesome.
So I need to like play the piano or sing a little bit, and then I'm there.
Wow.
And then it's just this feeling of, okay, I'm just going and I'm just typing and I'm just writing. And there's nothing that stops me, and I can't stop actually at that point. I can't even stop. And by the time I'm done, I'm just like, holy crap, did I just write that? That's amazing.
It's such a beautiful thing. The muses, right? The muses have come. Like it's a spiritual gift.
Yeah.
And when that hits you, you have to create out of that.
Yeah.
Because if you say, oh, this is a good idea, at the very minimum, write it down for people in practical senses if they're, moms and dads and working, because I understand not everyone can make it their life like we have, but it starts with when you do get hit with the muse, when you do get that creative spark, do not ignore that or it will go away. If you stop listening, the voice stops coming. So when it comes in a still small voice, it's like this holy, beautiful, spiritual thing. Write it down or use your voice notes and record. I've gotten some of my best songs in the shower, just singing to myself, We all make fun of it. I'm a shower singer, but honestly, that's where you're inspired. Then do it. You're washing dishes. You're maybe singing to your babies at night. You're, at work, you're tapping your thumb on the thing and all of a sudden it's a cool beat. Record that. It's okay if it's 10, 15 seconds. Write it down, whatever it is. Oh, I have an idea, concept. The worst thing you could do is think, oh, I'll get to that later. Yeah. Because what happens is it's gone. As quick as it comes, it's gone. And I tell you, from experience, there is something in this universe that when you get downloaded into that, creative source is going to create it somewhere. If you don't receive it and do it, it's going to appear somewhere else. We all know it's like, I invented that. I thought of that song. But you didn't do it, did you? That person did. So they got the money. They pushed through and disciplined themselves enough to then channel it and create it. But that doesn't mean you've lost your opportunity.
Yeah.
A lot of us take those losses along the way, but the thing is to take a win and celebrate it. If you got a creative idea and you wrote it down, celebrate that. You recorded something. You all of us have these ideas where we get inspired.
Yeah.
Take that, have a notebook, record it in voice notes. Maybe draw that little picture, sketch it, whatever it is. There might be architects out there who develop buildings in their free time and you just sketch it, put it on your refrigerator, write those little notes, put it somewhere in the mirror while you brush your teeth, inspire yourself. And then before you know, you're going to have all those and then the opportunity is going to come for you to create on that. But that's not your job right now. Your job is to channel that. And if you can go into the studio, if you're blessed enough to have created a source where you can, create from and you have your house, your home studio, your art studio, whatever it is, and your guitar you can pick up and do that, then do that.
Yeah.
But if you can't, minimally write it down, stick a sticky note somewhere and go back to it, but make sure it's written down in the physical universe. Because every time you think, oh, I'll go back to that when I can,
it's gone.
No, it's gone. There's a million other things that come in. Now you got to pay the bills. Now you got to get to the gym. Now you got to, watch a movie with your spouse or whatever. And there's all these other things though, that steal our time.
Yeah. What's really interesting? I'm just picking up on this now because I know when you go against that muse, you call it the muse. I love that. When you go against the muse, actually your day is heavy. It feels heavier and it feels like you're trudging through the muck. Like there's something that I need to be doing and it's not this. It's a weird feeling that because the muse is still there, because you actually need to take 5 minutes. Even 5 minutes will do a lot.
Yeah.
Because if you can release that and let it go through you and through your hands and somewhere where you can come back to it, then actually your day goes better. Like mine always goes better when I'm just like, I can't get this out of my head. I'm going to just stop and I'm going to do this.
Ooh,
I'm
going
to write this down. And then I do that. And then I'm like, can breathe again. We're going to keep moving forward. And so, and I think there's all this judgment on people who need that creative process. Like, and I
Mm-hmm.
actually think that people think they have ADHD. I'm like, I think you're actually just really highly creative.
Yes. Like you said, it's going to bother you until you get it out.
Right.
You'll get it out.
Yeah.
I would have 1000% been drugged as a child for ADHD had I grown up like 10 years later. Because now it's like every child is given these dangerous, disgusting drugs. And I am so against it because we are drugging our future artists and creators. And it is not okay. Yeah. And that's the thing is it's weird because, you know, I think a lot of creators smoke because they need an excuse to go out and think, like a smoke break. You know, I don't smoke cigarettes, or do any drugs. I rarely drink because I like to just be a pure source of, you know, I'm very much into health and nutrition and to download. But I think a lot of artists of old and now, unfortunately, get into kind of toxic things because they have such a need to buy themselves that time, and they use chemicals to push it. And unfortunately, we make that okay, you know, and setting up a child with ADHD, giving them saying that they are ADHD and giving them drugs is setting them up for failure. And I know a lot of people who came out of that and finally are healing. And that's not to say we don't have mental instabilities and illnesses and struggles. 1000% we do. Yeah. But before you accept that you have some sort of label, first of all, clear out the toxic people in your life because they could be making you sick. And second of all, create and then see what your space feels like. Because I know I am nuts if I don't get my gym in the morning. I am nuts. There's all this energy in me and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's hard to focus. And then I get that negative it's not even bad energy. It's just I call it replacing the kind of stuck energy and getting it out. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I can think clearer. It's like a drug in a good way.
Yeah. You have to channel the energy that comes through and otherwise it'll get stuck, like what you're saying. So I love you say that. Yeah. I remember my mom saying like, oh, the teacher thought you had ADHD or something. I'm like, what? Because I had to have my hands moving. I just should have had a stress ball or something.
Exactly.
I've been playing the piano since I was 4 because my hands just wanted to do this.
They could have just given you a piano. They could have said, I mean, the way we structure school, it's like only the people get A's, sit down and shut up and listen. We're making slaves with the school system. And then we're drugging our creators and telling them, oh, because you don't sit down and behave, you have a disease and here's your medication. Yeah. What? It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah. I could write before I could read, honestly. And everyone's like, how'd you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, I wanted to write. I always wanted to write. You know,
see, that's a gift. It's not a curse. That is a gift. You should have been in the special school rather than, you know, people look at.
I did get published. No, she didn't. I did get published at a young age, and I got awards and stuff in junior high and high school for state exams and stuff. So it's
that's incredible.
It's just something that came easy for me. And I guess like for ADHD and stuff, I'm just like, well, even if I don't know, I actually just never think of it as, well, it just means that somebody's highly creative. And if they're struggling with that, then they're probably just struggling with not being themselves.
Exactly. Well, if you tell everybody that they have to climb trees and that's the only way you can prove yourself, if you're a fish, you're going to feel like you're a weirdo and you're going to try to do all kinds of things to make yourself. But then if you put the monkeys from the trees that we're all told they're normal into the ocean, they're going to look weird. Yeah. So we have a problem where we have fish that we're saying should be climbing trees, but really put the fish in the ocean, leave the monkeys to the trees. Let's put, this is how I see it. It's like a jungle. If you told a lion they have to act like a bear, they would look pretty darn weird too, rather than just letting a lion be a lion. Let a bear be a bear. Let a deer be a deer. Everybody's got skills. Everybody's got talents. When we try to put people into one, set sort of category, we're putting round holes, or what is it? We're putting square pegs into round holes, and somebody's going to get hurt. And unfortunately, the school system does that. So I was half homeschooled, part of my schooling. I also went to sometimes public school. I mean, we traveled a lot when I was a kid. So we went to, this is why I love to travel today, but it's also why I can just create on a dime and not feel stuck. It also gave me this sense of being lost sometimes. So I had to create that for myself. But I was really blessed, and my mom did suffer from mental illness. I lost both my parents 15 years ago. but she was highly creative and not seen as who she is. So she suffered a lot.
Yeah.
And that's really what's going on. And when we give our artists the room to breathe and we put the pen in their hand and the paintbrush in their hand and the microphone in their mouth, and we just say, okay, here's a piano, here's a guitar, go create or do this, or you find what your child wants to do and then let them do that. Yeah. Then you'll see that they're actually spectacular and extraordinary. And it doesn't stop at children. We need to do it for adults too. We took a lot of art and prayer and spiritual and, lifting up out of the schools. And now we have a lot of people who are suffering because of it. All avenues of expression are valid, but we can't forget that artists are very special beings. We really are. And if you are one, you're not dumb. You're actually incredible. You just have to have the discipline and the wherewithal and the strength to release yourself and create as much as you can and just ignore the haters. That's always what I say. It's always what I preach. And I try to be a standpoint for that because my Joy tribe deserve it. And I have a responsibility to help. And one day I will be a mother and I want to grow my kids in that atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Our girls are both very engineer minded and highly creative. It's fascinating. Fascinating.
Awesome.
And
they're the combination between your husband and you.
They are.
Wow. Well done.
They are. I'm just like, man, I mean, this is why I'm like, I like people who are opposite than me. I just do, because I'm like, it's a whole other perspective. I learn more. So I'm here to experience. Like, that's what I tell everybody. I'm like, I'm here to figure things out and experience and never figure things out too, because there's always more to learn. So, but that's just that's a joy for living too. Like, I'm going to enjoy life.
That's right. That's the joy of life.
The joy of
living.
Joy of living with Joy Villa. So.
That's right. It sounds like a TV show.
It does sound like a TV show. I would watch that. I would watch that. And I think that you're giving so much amazing permission to people who are very creative and artistic and just haven't given themselves. You're giving them permission to give themselves permission. And I love that.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. If you're waiting for permission, you're waiting for a sign, this is it. This is your sign to go create, love yourself, and create from that. No matter what your circumstances are, no matter what hand you've been dealt, it is never too late. Young or old, rich, poor, black, white, male, female, tall, short, there is always a space, but you have to create it. It is your power. Yeah.
Be courageous. Step forward with who you are and fight for it. Right?
That's right. You got to fight for it. It's one of my songs. Freedom. You got to fight for it. You better fight for it.
Oh, it's going to be so good. Okay, now I'm going to go download everything I can about your songs and stuff. So, I love that so much.
All my stuff at joyvilla.com. The website is getting worked on, so it might be down by the time the podcast comes out. I think it'll be back up. Yeah. But I'm Joy Villa, JoyVilla, on Spotify, on YouTube. All my music videos are on YouTube. I have music videos I filmed in East Asia, in Europe, everywhere around the world I've been. I try to bring a little bit of that. And then there's actually a preview of my Andorra documentary for my subscribers on YouTube. If you want to go to youtube.com/miss Joy Villa.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we are going to have all the links for those that are watching this on the video. We're going to put it on the website as well, guys. So you guys go check out everything that she is up to. And oh gosh, I so appreciate you coming on. Oh, this just like makes me feel so warm and yummy inside.
Yay, that's good. That's perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much for having me, Danielle. I love that you present this space for artists and creators and engineers and people everywhere to create and talk, and because we're all creators. Yeah. Whether you're in the math and sciences, you're still creating something. Individually, as beings, we are created to create. So create your best life.
So beautiful. Okay, everyone. Well, go and check out everything that Joy Villa is up to, and we will be back for another episode. Bye for now. Hey everyone, Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark here, your host of Minds of the Mighty podcast. And thank you so much for joining me and Joy today. And if you guys are ready to learn more about what Joy is up to in the world and what she has coming up, guys, because she's got some really cool things coming up, then you guys can go and check out the show notes page with more information on Joy. And that is https bit.ly/MOTM-joy. So it's a bit.ly-MOTM that stands for Minds of the Mighty Joy. So go and check out her show notes page. And of course, do not forget to like and subscribe and give us some love on Apple Podcast and also on Spotify. We'll see you next time.